kind of on a pitch count this week. Do you know, is the thinking behind that because the oblique is something that maybe he could re-aggravate if he does more work now? Is it a conditioning standpoint? What factors would lead to that pitch count still being in place?
Yes, it's more or less where you're just trying to progress somebody through something, and Jalen has improved since the oblique injury, and we're just making sure that we put him in the best position we can to be successful and to increase when we can and not have any setbacks and just be very aware of where he's at as far as during the game and in his whole process.
Ryan, does whether Lane Johnson plays change how you guys would attack Philadelphia?
Yeah, good question. We prepare regardless of who the tackles are. We prepare both ways. This isn't the first time we've gone into a game with an offensive tackle potentially playing or not playing. So these guys are professionals. They understand how we prepare for him, prepare if he's not playing, and react to what we get.
What goes into, I feel like Brad and Jalen may have told us about this before, but what goes into having Bradley like exclusively over the left tackle and Jalen or Andrew Van Ginkel exclusively over the right tackle, and why don't maybe they switch depending on matchups or whatever?
Yes, it's more or less like just where they, it kind of varies. Like it could be where they feel comfortable by each particular game. It could be by game plan. So we've had some snaps where they have rotated. We've had some where they've been exclusively left and right. So it's one of those that what fits best for their skills versus their matchup and what fits best for the structure of the defense on that given weekend. So it's been a little bit of both.
Bradley Chubb has had two games in particular where he was really dominant this year. When Bradley is dominant, when Bradley's at his best, what are some of the things that you notice?
Bradley does a good job for us, regardless of if he is like quote unquote dominant in the stat sheet or whatever. He really is a tone setter for us. He does a good job disrupting the game. Even on those games where he might not show up in the stat sheet, he does a good job with his rushes, just helping compress the pocket, which lead to some other guys being able to have success. So when he's his most consistent version and keeps showing up every week and every day, that's going to continue to lead to good things for him.
When you're facing an athletics quarterback like Jalen Hurts, how important is rush integrity and not over pursuing? Is it just you can't be too deep into the pocket?
Yeah, it's very important. It's a different animal back there when you have someone like that. So you have to be very cognizant of rush lanes, rush integrity, not playing with outside the structure of the defense and the rush game plan. And you really have to be tied into understanding where that quarterback is, where you are in relation to him, and making sure you're on the same page with the other guys up front. It's very important.
When you have those athletic quarterbacks, is there a picture of where they like to scramble from, or what direction they like to scramble, or is it just them taking off?
Yeah, so some of them have tendencies, and then some of them don't. They're just good enough. They can find a window, escape anywhere, throw from anywhere. So you just have to be alert. That's why like rush integrity across the whole front is important, especially someone like this who can make you pay anywhere. So you really have to be dialed in, not so much one side, but all across the board.
Andrew Van Ginkel seems to be having his best pass rushing season on the edge, and that's after an offseason where he added playing inside linebacker as well. What have you seen that he added into his game off the edge?
He's just gotten more consistent with understanding his rushes and understanding like what works for him and what doesn't, and building upon those things and really dialing in to like. It's as a pass rusher, the more experience you get, the more reps you get deeper into your career, it kind of helps you understand your body, your kind of repertoire of rushes. And he's done a really good job kind of focusing on that and understanding his body control and balance and how to use that to his advantage.
He said that he's able to set guys up more, that he's got more rushes. How important is that for pass rushers in particular?
Yeah, it's really important. It's important to be able to, like I said, kind of understand your like toolbox of rushes and how your body works, how you can use body control and set up different rushes and And it's very important for especially someone like Gink, who is very slippery and understands how to get on the edge, but can still work you back. So it is definitely important.
What is slippery? What is a slippery pass rusher?
It's just somebody who understands how to work edges, who can just learn to play on the edge of people and yet still work somebody back and play like down the middle of someone as well. So someone like Andrew, you got to be aware he kind of has a toolbox where he can win multiple ways.
We've seen Cameron Good contribute a lot on special teams. How was he developed at outside linebacker?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Cameron Good?
Yes.
Play a lot of special teams. How was he developed at outside linebacker?
He's very well. We're very pleased with him. Obviously, as he's gotten more reps in the special teams game, he's gotten a few snaps defensively each week that he's been up. So he continues to progress as a young guy. I mean, second year. So he's obviously when he was in college, he was a little bit of a tweener. He played some inside and some outside. So to be able to get him focused on one position and continue to grow there and just like develop with the position has been big for him.
You guys are pretty high in some good categories like sacks, hurries, pressures, QB hits. I'm curious, do you have a favorite statistic? Maybe one that I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Which one do you like?
It's the one that's called wins.
I know. Are hits just as important as sacks? Are hurries just as important as pressures? How should I look at it?
Yeah, that's a good question. For us, we just want to affect him. However that is, if that means in that game that the quarterback's getting the ball out fast, but it's not really where it's going to be a game where you're hitting or you're like sacking him, but you are affecting him, messing up his drops, not being able to throw from a clean platform, those sort of things. Those guys understand that basically as long as whatever it takes that game to affect that guy with the football, that's the one that we want to be into.
Right. We see the sack totals. How have your guys been against the run, and what will be especially key for them this week against the run?
Yeah, they've been solid against the run. Obviously, this is only the 7th game of the season, so to say they've hey, we're exceptional, but we've improved. They've improved with their skills and understanding. They've played well and then had to play better in games that they haven't played the greatest. So for us, we're just trying to build on where we are right now as run defenders as well as pass rushers. So we think right now in week 7, there's some things we can definitely build on and things we can keep going with.
Right. I was going to ask you how Agba is doing in your mind as he transitions to a different role this year.
Yeah, Emmanuel's doing good. He's obviously, as you said, transitioning, like getting back to being more of a stand-up guy, and then a hand in the dirt occasionally, stand up occasionally. So whatever that particular game sees fit for him. He's been very good at embracing it, accepting it, and willing to do what he can to help this team and help that unit.